Hey everyone, this is Adam Maynard. I'm trying out something new this week, and I've been looking for a way for you to be able to ask me questions about relationships in a seamless way. And so I created a Curious Cat account. So if you go to curiouscat.me/agmaynard, there's a portal for you to be able to ask me your pressing relationship questions, and I will do my best to respond to them on a regular basis. So this video is in response to the first ever Curious Cat question I got this week, and it's a really good one, so I want to share it. I want to share it with you now. Anonymous asks, what is someone to do when his gut is telling him that the relationship isn't working, but his heart is telling him he loves her deeply and really, really wants it to work? Man, what a fantastic question this is. Who hasn't been in this situation where a relationship's on the ropes? We're doing everything we can to try and make it work, to try and find the solution, to try and break through whatever the resistance is that we're feeling. And we kind of are coming to the end of the road within ourselves where we realize, hey, maybe this isn't working despite the desire that we have in our hearts, despite the motivation and the willpower that we have to see it through. What if it really is time to say goodbye, even if we do really still love the person? So Anonymous, thank you for this question. It's a really good one, and let me see if I can offer some perspective that will help you see this situation in a new light. The first question I would actually ask you, Anonymous, is how much do you trust that the feeling that you're feeling in your gut that you describe is based on kind of the most objective information and the kind of most sobering look at the relationship as it can? It sounds like it is, but it's always a good place to check in there to make sure that the gut feeling that you're having that things are coming to an end, or that the solutions that you've tried really aren't working, is an accurate one. And being able to discern some of the conflicting feelings that you may be feeling is actually that signal saying this is kind of on its last legs, despite your desire or will for that to not be the case. It sounds like from the way that you asked the question, you're pretty in tune with yourself, that this is a pretty realistic and pragmatic take on the whole situation. So not doubting you there, just something to check in on and make sure that you've done everything that you can really to make sure that, if this is someone that you really do care about and that you really want things to work out with, that you've owned and accounted for and really resolved to change all of the parts of the conflict, whatever isn't working, that is your stuff, that is on your side of the relationship equation, on your side of the table, and you've really worked on that stuff. If we only have control over what we can choose and do in a relationship, we can't, unfortunately, much to our chagrin, make choices for other people. We kind of sometimes try and find ways to do that, but we can really only control the thoughts, words, and actions that come from us. So make sure that you have done kind of your work that the relationship has asked of you in a kind of introspective way, because maybe there are a couple things that you can do that you haven't fully taken a look at that might change the outcome, that might improve the situation, if only in your own head and heart, about how you feel about the situation, about how you're bringing yourself to bear in the relationship. Are you really showing up in the best ways that you know how to show up for this woman that you clearly care about? If you feel like you've done that, if you feel like you've kind of pulled all the tricks out of the hat, you've really done your inner work, you've communicated, you've set boundaries, you've tried to come to good faith and good natured solutions with this person, then we kind of move into the next phase of the conversation, which is you're kind of in this limbo, right? You're in this limbo where your head knows something and your heart doesn't want your head to know it. Your head knows that the things that you've tried, the conversations you've had, the feelings that have come up in the relationship, something just isn't working in the way that it used to. And your heart, as much as it wants the relationship to work in the way that you want it to work, one of the blessings and the curses of relationships, as I mentioned a minute ago, is that we can't always control them, and we can actually rarely control them. We can only bring ourselves to bear in the ways that we know how, and hope that that's enough in the given situation. So if you really feel like this is it, then you have some reconciliation that you can do within your own head and heart to act on what you know, to act on the reality of the situation. You're kind of balancing this space between the truth of what is, how things exist now, and the desire for what could be, if, and that being the state where things kind of work out, things come back together, you get to continue experiencing this love with this person in the way that you'd like to. And that's the inner conflict, right? You have one part of yourself telling you one thing, you have another part of yourself telling you another thing, and you kind of have to figure out how to meet those things in the middle to balance them out, and know that both of those things can exist they can exist at the same time. It's not an either or. You can very, perceptively know that the relationship, for whatever reason, isn't working out right now, and that can be real. And you can also have this love for someone and want to continue experiencing that love and not want to let that go. And those two things can coexist. Believe it or not, you can find a way to accept the reality of your present while not diminishing the spectacular feelings that you've had, and know that even if if the time has come to let the relationship go, even if the time has come to say goodbye to this woman that you care about, that love that you felt was real and still is real and is still possible for you, whether it's with this woman in the future or with someone else, or just within the kind of bounds of how you now understand yourself, what you're capable of, the love that you're capable of, the way that you love yourself. And I think that you'll be best served if you absolutely take the time that you need to continue thinking about this, especially if you've been with this person for a long time, or if the feelings are really deep. There's no rush in kind of making the decisions that you may need to make. But honor those feelings. You don't have to diminish them. You don't have to wish them away. You can feel them. You can embrace them even, and that might make the situation a little bit easier for you. The last thing I'll say in Parting Anonymous is that I don't have a lot of detail about the background of what's gone on here and kind of the state of play in the relationship, and kind of how things are now, whether the relationship isn't working just due to circumstance or whether you're growing apart for whatever reason. But I want to say that sometimes love leaves the room, right? Sometimes love says goodbye. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for the person that you care about is to make the sober choice, is to make the decision to call things for what they are, to see the writing on the wall, and to act from that place of the truth of what is, instead of operating in this place of the truth of what could be, or the truth, it may be in this case, of the truth of what was that you're holding on to and are kind of afraid to let go of. Sometimes the loving thing that we can do is accepting that reality, and if that's the case here for you, know that is in and of itself a loving act towards yourself, towards the woman that you care about, and in that way honors the relationship and the partnership that you've had, instead of maybe drawing it out or dragging it out in a way that could be more hurtful or could be more painful for the two of you, in kind of the slow death that relationships can sometimes endure. So take all of this, kind of weigh all of what I've shared with you today, and I hope that some of it's been helpful, and I wish you the best of luck in whatever decisions, choices, or changes that may be coming to your life and to this relationship in the near future. All right, everyone, that wraps up my first ever response to a question on Curious Cat. If you have a question about the relationships in your life, go to curiouscat.me/AGMaynard and ask your question there. I'll record a video just like this one, just for you, and offer perspective that will help you through whatever it is, the challenge that you're facing. I'll see you there.